So if some of you recollect, Air India had actually sent airplanes from India. It's almost like a ST bus. You know, the airplane lands, the doors open, whoever's there, chalo ghus jao andar, fatafat, flight is full, takes off, and the next flight comes in. And while on the flight or while getting to the flight, they're writing the names and the passport numbers and whatever. So it was all basically scribbling. Now, so these were documents which came in 12 different languages, including Chinese and Japanese and several European languages, Urdu, Sinhalese, Arabic, etc. And the challenge was that everything except Arabic had to be translated to English. Okay. Arabic had to be captured as Arabic. So when the project was, came to us for being, we were bidding for the project, and I was a project manager, appointed project manager for this, and what did I do? I looked at this as a very difficult, impossible, can't get it done. So I did not want the project, to be honest. So when you don't want a project, because you're asking for failure, what do? You double your price. Okay, so whatever I was charging to all my other customers, I said, let's double the price. So for English, the price is double, and for non-English, it's tripled. So I said, surely you're not going to get this project. Send it to my Geneva office. The guy out there came back to me and said, are you sure, Manish, are you sure with this pricing? I said, yeah, absolutely sure. He says, do you think you'll manage? I said, yeah, sure, absolutely. Okay. And project that price. He says, I think the price is too low. And I said, wait a minute, the price is low. I said, what do you think you can get? He said, I think we should charge double of this. I said, wonderful, and that, wonderful in the sense that you should be priced out and not get the project. As it so happened, we were amongst the 3 bidders who actually got called in. And we were the highest bidder, and as per the UN rules, the lowest bidder gets the job. But here in this case, the other 2 companies were unknown, and Datamatics did a lot of IT projects for different UN agencies worldwide. So they said, well, this is a known name, good company, even though this is a BPO project, let's give it to them at a higher price. So here I was in Geneva, and then suddenly we got the project. What do you do? And I said, very good, we got the project. Now we'll do something about it. So, 6 times the price, fantastic, kuch ho jayega. Without even realizing, but Arabic and Chinese, Japanese, we'll get people. There are a lot of people in India working in the Middle East. We'll get some of them, and a lot of people know Arabic. What's the big deal? Okay. So typical Indian attitude, mindset, dekh lenge, ho jayega. And then they said this project has to be done in 60 days. So I said 60 days, okay, well, 60 days IST, Indian stretchable time. We'll stretch it a little bit. 1 day before or 2 days before we tell them, boss, thoda problem hai. The usual thing. Then they came back and they said, well, there is a penalty for this. After all that is said and done, they said there's a $5,000 penalty for every single day that you delay. There's a $10,000 penalty for every 10 basis points where you don't meet the quality expectations. And I was in a bind, I had no option but to say yes. The fat was in the fire, and then he came back, but net what we did was actually tremendous out of the box thinking, tremendous innovation, because we had to get people of different diversities, different working across geographies, trying to execute this project. And then UN, so I told the UN, we'll do all these things. And he said, no, wait a minute. You are an Indian company, you have to do it in India. You will not further outsource. So you'll insource, but you'll insource the talent. And then, I got all these guys who I thought knew Arabic to come and work with this, and we figured out that printed Arabic is very different than handwritten Arabic. Okay. All the Indians we met said, I know Arabic. And we said, can you read this document? This I don't know. What is this? So ultimately we have to get people, natives from Egypt and Sudan in India to actually read that. Okay, and work on it. They read it. They said, perfect. We know all these things. The challenge was they did not know how to use computers. So they knew the language, they did not know how to use computers. We had no Arabic keyboards. So we actually had to get the Arabic Windows software and other software from the Middle East, teach these guys how to use computers, but they knew the language. Okay, but eventually, to cut a long story short, we actually worked 24/7. Okay, we worked 24/7. We worked in 12 languages. We delivered in 58 days. Okay, so we were 2 days ahead of schedule. And based on that, we actually got 5 other projects from the UN. And that was actually the base on which the whole company is survived. And what we did was, part of the out-of-the-box thinking was, we actually looked at a lot of foreign language specialists in India. And a lot of them were women. Surprisingly, a lot of them were women, but they did not want to work in the office. They were qualified, but they were either married or they had children, they could not work full time. And so eventually we started giving them work at home. Okay. And from this, we actually built up a model on which the whole business grew. Okay, we built up what we call the knowledge associate model. Again, this was a very, very challenging project for us. The project was, how do you set up 500 women within Mumbai, working from home, extremely well qualified, and having them work at their own timings, in their own domains, but giving us the work, the output. So we actually had a project management office, and we were not really into project management as such. We were doing everything that PMI now, in hindsight we know that we could have actually gone across and learned a lot from PMI. Okay, this is not when we were members of the PMI, but eventually as a company, and I'm talking about 5 years ago, again the success ratio is very small. Then finally we gave them a mandate: if you're not PMP certified in the next 6 months, you are not in the company, you don't have a job. And then every single new person who came in as a project manager, we said, you have to be PMP certified within 6 months and we will help you get there. And over a period of 2 years, we had every single project manager on the BPO side PMP certified. And that really, really helped us increase the operational efficiencies in the company. And just to give you an idea of this knowledge associate, when I left the company, we had 1400 such knowledge associates in Mumbai. And then we are expanding it across pan-India. Okay. What it meant for the company is no fixed cost. You did not have to give them a seat in the office to sit and work. You did not have to give them a computer. Okay. They did not work fixed hours. Okay. And it gave us a big business edge because our volumes varied on a day-to-day basis. Our volumes could actually vary 50% a day in some projects. In some projects, 100% a day. But we still had to commit the quality and the time deliverables. Incidentally, just to give you a background, we are in the business of processing legal documents, financial documents, healthcare documents. So they all vary on a day-to-day basis. And for the knowledge associates, it was fantastic. They could work on their time slots, at their convenience, out of their homes. Some of them work, maybe 5 to 7 on a Monday morning, 6 to 8 on Tuesday. Wednesday took a day off because they had to go to the kids' school, etc., etc. And we built a phenomenal model around that. Business efficiencies were tremendous, and our gross margins were about 70%. We were doing net profit after tax as a company between 35-40% for many, many years. So again, I would attribute it to good project management and unconventional thinking, completely out of the box thinking. This is when you're faced with a problem, as a lot of us in the global world today are facing. We're faced with problems, and I'm sure we'll come up with a lot of innovative strategies, not only on reducing costs, but also to increase operational efficiencies, to bring about new products, new services. Because when your mind starts thinking, and when you're under pressure, then you come up with a lot of solutions.